I think today we have a power pack podcast for our viewers and listeners. So, do you want to tell us what we have in store?
So we have a list of a lot of AI related stocks, and we are going to rank them according to how we think they would do in the next few years.
Yes. So, basically, how I would put it is that this is the only AI podcast you'll have to hear. अगर आपको कुछ भी नहीं पता है, what are some of the top companies जो you should buy if you believe in the AI hype cycle? What we have done is we have broken down the whole entire AI supply chain, and we have figured out some of the best stocks in each sector. Right? There are primarily four sectors that we're going to discuss. But definitely watch the entire podcast. I'm going to cover two sectors. Rodya is going to cover two sectors, and it's a lot of value that we have brought in for our viewers today.
Yeah, I think Sumit, we could start by sharing that graphic that we had taken out to
Yes,
make show people that how AI
correct.
is much more complex than people might think, or how it might come off as. So there are multiple facets to AI investing in AI stocks. There are different kinds of
Yeah,
categories of stocks. So yeah.
yeah. Just sharing my screen. Yes. So basically, this is one very relevant infographic that I found. Just to take you through this, basically, primarily when people think of AI, right, we just think on the application layer, right, which is, as you can see, Chat GPT, Anthropic, Perplexity, etc. Right, but as somebody had said in the dot-com bubble and maybe before that, is that when there is a gold rush, you have to bet on the guy who's selling the shovels,
Yeah.
right? So basically, we are going to focus on this part of the supply chain, right? So let me just very briefly explain you what this infographic actually means. So how this supply chain works is that your chip designers work in tandem with the chip manufacturers, right? So for example, companies like NVIDIA, AMD are primarily chip designers. They send their designs to companies like TSMC, Broadcom, etc., to manufacture their chips,
Yeah.
right? And then all of that is being put up in a data center, right? You have companies like Vertiv and CoreWeave, etc., who directly buy NVIDIA and AMD chips and host it on a data center, which is then taken up by all of these cloud providers. Now, these cloud providers have their own data centers as well, but there are a lot of other smaller players who do it as a standalone service so that they can give it to a lot of other companies as well, right? Obviously, there are a lot of other companies apart from Google, AWS, and Azure as well, right? So that's your layer. And then comes the application layer where these companies build on the tokens that are offered by these cloud players, right? The application, when we do a search on Chat GPT, it is probably going and hitting on a Azure data center, right? So that's the whole point of how we are seeing this supply chain. Hriday,
Yeah.
you want to add here anything?
Yeah, I think we're good to go. It's kind of
Yeah,
you've done the basics that there are different categories, and
correct.
how one category interacts with another category. You might have, like, people might have heard about the partnerships between ChatGPT and NVIDIA, as in
Yeah.
OpenAI and NVIDIA and stuff, and
Yeah, I
seen
mean,
that
if
meme.
I had to point out partnerships, this whole diagram can become
Yeah,
unreadable because there'll be a lot of lines that I'll have to draw.
yeah,
Almost every company is in partnership with a lot of different companies. That is also something that we'll address in this podcast. But yeah, I think this is a good starting point just to
yeah,
show people as to what the supply chain actually looks like, right?
yeah.
So awesome. Let's get started. I think the first sector I want to talk about is about chip designing and chip manufacturing, because that's a very, very essential play. There are very few companies, when you look at the broader market, who are really market leaders in this, right?
Yeah.
And from all earnings calls that I have heard of, and everybody, who's all partnerships, everybody is just trying to get their hands on these chips,
Yeah.
right? Because that's one of the most essential things that you'll have to get your hands on if you want to develop a really good model, and after developing a good model, if you want to sustain your tokens and stuff like that, right? So the first name, definitely the king and the godfather of this AI boom, is NVIDIA. So I think we have talked about NVIDIA in the past, and NVIDIA is one name that I think बहुत सारे retail stockholders को already पता है. Uh, so that's a good thing. And I think all those people are right. I personally believe that there is still a good runway left for NVIDIA. So great stock to invest in. I just want to show a simple video for people who still want to understand कि यार ये GPU है क्या, right? What is the difference between a GPU and a CPU, right? So let me just show a very small video. Just sharing my screen. Okay, so this is a presentation that had happened, I think, way back in time. I mean, this video itself is like 5 years ago, but maybe it could be before that as well. But anyways, so these guys.
3, 2, 1.
This is a CPU presentation.
Let me speed it up.
So that's the CPU, right? This is just to give you an analogy of what it really means. So that's idea of a CPU. Now let me just take you through the part of the GPU, right? So this
Goes through these accumulators, out these valves, into all 1,100 of these tubes, which are all exactly the same length. Ready? Ready? The crew's ready. On your mark.
10,
9, 8,
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So yeah, basically just to give people an idea, I think you would have developed some sort of an intuition, but GPU is something that you would need to do accelerated computing, and accelerated computing is what is very essential for AI to work on, right? So just to give you an idea of why companies like Intel and other companies who used to, or their whole supply chain was built around CPU, had been a laggard in this bull run. So what we are also going to do in this podcast is we have all of the names that we want to discuss in this podcast, right? And we are going to rank them, right? So S being the best tier, then you have A, B, C, D. So it is in the decreasing order of how amazing we think the stock is, right? And where would we be putting our money if right now we were not owning, let's say, any of these stocks, right? So since you're talking about NVIDIA, बहुत लोगों को ऐसा लगेगा कि यार this should be an S tier stock definitely. I would have agreed to it maybe last year, but I feel today it will be a A tier stock for me. I'll give you reasons. Is because it has already given a lot of run up. I mean, amazing run up. So I believe now it will be difficult to grow off of a higher base. I think the company is already 4 trillion. Yet doesn't mean it cannot double from here. But there are other stocks. I think जिनके पास बेहतर मोट है NVIDIA से, and the primary reason is not even that. The primary reason is that why it is an A tier for me is because now a lot of other companies जो सबसे बड़े buyers हैं NVIDIA chips के, they have started putting their bets elsewhere. Like for example, Google has started building their own chips, etc. So that's the reason why it's an A tier for me.
Even the Chinese competitors, right? So I would say like maybe a few months down the line, I would prefer it in B tier. For a few months, I think A is like a more suitable choice. But
yeah, I think थोड़ा और juice बाकी है in the stock for it to remain in a A tier. And yes, one more concern with NVIDIA is the China risk, right? So China is still at 25% of their revenue, and the way how US and China tensions are increasing, let's say again ban वापस लगता है कभी हटता है, very confusing whatever is happening, but अगर वो continue होता है then this could become a problem.
Yeah.
So currently it's an A, but something to look out for. And now I'll just stay on this screen. I think because we are limited on time, I'll push other stocks right on this tier, and parallelly I'll just talk over it, right?
Yeah.
So the next stock that we have is AMD. AMD, I personally will put in tier B. Reason being that it's an amazing company again, but I think they have still not been able to capture the hype that NVIDIA has been able to. Recently, the stock has shown a great run up, but like for example, Rohidya, recently what has happened, right? And this has gotten me thinking is that NVIDIA did a deal with OpenAI, right? That got its stock to pump 27-30%, right? But मैं सोच रहा था एक बार उसके बारे में कि NVIDIA has done $100 billion investment in OpenAI, right? Where OpenAI has promised them shares in return, right? Now, why is OpenAI doing that? Is because they might not have enough cash flow to buy NVIDIA chips by paying in terms of cash, right? But AMD के साथ उल्टा है. AMD had to give OpenAI their shares so that OpenAI can commit that, chalo theek hai, I'll buy $10 billion or 10 gigawatts, sorry, worth of which is I think 60 billion worth of chips from you. So I feel ये बहुत बड़ी चीज बताता है कि आप कितना कमांड होल्ड करते हो, राइट? मतलब एक जगह आपको अपनी चिप बेचने के लिए द अदर पर्सन इज लाइक, you know what, I'm ready to give you my shares, but on the other side, the company is like, I can buy it for free, literally.
Yeah, man. That's true. The thing is, AMD has started to become better very recently, but again, like अभी तक production में उतना कुछ आया नहीं है ऐसा.
या
So-
जो चिप्स मार्केट में है वो उतने अभी भी कॉम्पिटिटिव नहीं है फ्रॉम आई मीन दिस व्हाट द क्रिटिक्स से, एंड probably their upcoming chips ऐसा लोग बोल रहे हैं कि are going to be really NVIDIA killers. We'll see. I mean, I truly invest based on what is out there in the market, what are the facts for today, and not what it can be tomorrow. Obviously, you have to take that into account as well. But for these things, I think a lot of things can go wrong. So,
yeah,
let's
I
see.
think we could reevaluate it once their hyped up upcoming chips come out.
Yeah.
It's called something like MI300 or something. So yeah,
Yeah.
once it releases, maybe we could.
True, yeah. If they actually launch something that actually can compete with the NVIDIA chips, for sure, yeah, we can definitely think again. Cool. So the next name that I would want to pick
TSM.
in this sector, yes, TSMC. TSMC, I would personally again put in at least tier A, is because I like a lot of things about this company, right? Almost every big name gets their chips manufactured at TSMC, right? They have such a great process and monopoly in chip manufacturing that this is unbelievable. So, just to give people an example, TSMC is not only building almost all of the chips that NVIDIA has, they are all also in partnership with AMD, but TSMC also manufactures a lot of other chips that these other cloud providers are betting on, right? So I think their risk is also not as much with the AI boom, and the only reason why I'm placing that in A is because of the Taiwan risk. So they're still, now they have opened up their new factory in Arizona in United States, but the main thing, यार, the main cream is still in Taiwan, and कल को अगर कुछ political event होता है, geopolitical event होता है, then that's a big risk, and that's why it's an A for me. But otherwise the company is great. Also I want to say is generally AI companies के multiples बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ चुके हैं, but TSMC is one company जो अभी भी reasonable valuation पे है. So can
less
we
than 30. Yeah, less than 30.
yeah, around, yeah, I think recent run up thoda sa hua hai, so I'm guessing it will be around 30, 32 or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's about TSMC. The next stock I want to pick up is AVGO, which is Broadcom. Broadcom for me again would be an A or maybe an S. What do you think, Hridaya? I think this is very close.
I think yeah, A would be better again, mostly because of the kind of run up they've already
Yeah,
given.
because yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, yeah, this stock has been amazing. Again, all the business fundamentals, right? So, जब भी मैं ये ranking कर रहा हूँ, right? What are the primary things I'm looking at? One thing I'm looking at is moat, right? Is that are they doing something जो कल को एक कंपनी अचानक से build नहीं कर सकती है, right? So that's one big thing for me.
Yeah.
How clear is your moat in the industry? The second important thing is that how's your free cash flow growing? So just want to show people one more thing is for Broadcom, let's say, right? So this is the free cash flow growth for a Broadcom. So for example, अगर आपको किसी भी कंपनी का, you know, let's say you're constrained by something, right? And there is only one metric that you have to look at. Just look at free cash flow. If you see a chart like this, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
This is an amazing metric that tells you a lot of the story, right? So while we were also discussing, look at this. This is the free cash flow of NVIDIA. And now when you look at this, you know why the stock has gone up, you know,
This much.
multiple times, you know, in recent times, right? Because their free
Parabolic.
cash flow has literally, you know, I don't even know, you know, how many times this is. So this is amazing,
Parabolic.
right? And same with TSMC as we talked about, right? So this is again, you know, growing at a very, very substantial pace, right? It was around a very similar stages before the AI boom, but after that, it has just been growing like crazy. So yeah, just wanted to mention that. Yes, let's come back here. So AVGO is an A for me because the run up that it has already given, but an amazing stock. I would definitely.
Yeah. I think ASML also kind of in a similar boat.
Yeah,
Next
but
one.
ASML actually I want to put in an S tier is because this company I have a very hard time. This has gotten a run up very recently. I think it has gotten a 20-25% run up, but I think पिछले एक दो दिनों में जो correction भी आया है, I feel very confident in putting ASML at an SEA because of two reasons. One, I wanted to show that obviously the free cash flow that I'm talking about, right? So that is your purple chart that people can look at. So it is definitely, you know, very stable, also growing recently, right? If you look at after 2020, it has been growing recently. The other thing that I like about ASML is that I want you to look at this chart, right? So this is the revenue chart. Now, if you look at this, the blue ones are when they actually deliver a machine. So people who don't know ASML has such a monopoly that they make these EUV machines that they sell to manufacturers like TSMC, right? और वो EUV मशीन से ही आप एक 3 नैनोमीटर 2 नैनोमीटर और ये जो हम पढ़ते हैं कि ये चिप्स बन रही हैं वो बनती हैं, right? And they are so difficult that at least all the critics say that if you have to do it at the level that, you know, the companies require it to be, you can only do it on this machine that ASML makes,
Yeah.
right? So that's one big clear moat that they have. But the second good thing that they have is, let's assume, you know, this industry, you know, just goes bust, right? What they have also logged in for is, in their contracts they also mention that if you buy a machine from ASML, we will also be servicing that machine, right? And as you can see, this has a very nice upward trajectory, right? Is because this piece now becomes a recurring income. So let's also assume कि यार ठीक है, you know, the initial machine sales can, you know, become stagnant or might come down, but because they've already sold a number of machines और वो ज़्यादा बिक रहे हैं अभी because of the AI boom, that recurring income will build an amazing free cash flow, and hence I want to put it in the S tier.
Yeah, I think it's one of the lower risk stocks among all these.
Yes.
Lowest one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the multiple is also very good. I don't remember the multiple, but should be reasonable if I'm not wrong.
Even valuation wise, as in the market cap is like much smaller than most of these other ones.
Yeah, yeah, and a very stable company. So बहुत important है AI boom में कि आप सिर्फ उन companies के पीछे मत भागो which can go from $1 to $10, but also have companies which you feel safer holding, right? Especially अगर आप market news daily नहीं सुन रहे हो या daily ये सब चीजें नहीं कर पा रहे हो, I would suggest these are some of the safer bets. The other name in this category is Alibaba, or maybe it's in the next category, right, Vidya?
Yeah.
I mean, they do a lot of things, so it can get confusing. But yeah, let me just come back to our meet, and I'll just establish the next sector. So yeah, but did you largely agree with the rankings here?
Yeah, mostly, yeah. ASML is, I'm not sure A or S, but one of those for sure. The thing is, it's like a defensive, it gives you some defensibility in your portfolio,
Yeah,
along with like a slow growth for sure.
yeah.
Maybe not as explosive, but it's like it'll give you a very good return in the longer term. Yeah.
That is true, yeah. And वो आप बहुत सही बोल रहे हो. मतलब actually the ranking also depends on your investing style, right? So for me, when I'm defining a S tier, I'm saying, yeah, very low chances that something can go wrong with this company, right? So there is no geopolitical risk with ASML. They have a clear moat. Uh, uh, will their services be needed more in the AI boom? Absolutely, 100% yes. So and they have a recurring income thing also that is built in. So all these things are very clear and hence an S tier. But yeah, we'll see.
It's like a
But also,
base of the base of, like, let's say
yes,
NVIDIA.
yeah.
So
I
it's
mean, this
most
AI, I got
essential.
into this, what do you call, rabbit hole of these AI, how these chips are manufactured. And आप देखेंगे भैया ये पूरा supply chain इतना fragile है, right? Almost all the chip manufacturers are dependent on this small company called ASML, right? जो एक ऐसी machine बना रही है जो सबको चाहिए, right? और apparently
Exactly.
सिर्फ वही बना सकता है. ASML in their UV technology uses a glass which is manufactured by this company called Zeiss.
Uh, the
और वो
lens.
कुछ तो टेक्नोलॉजी ऑफ ग्लास है that only Zeiss makes in the entire world. Like
It's
normally आप
crazy.
सोचोगे यार it's 2025, right? Like बहुत कम ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजीज हैं जो replicatable है नहीं है and stuff like that, but apparently there's still a lot. So yeah,
It's crazy.
the whole supply chain, just putting it out there, is also very fragile at the same time. But anyways, cool. So I think the next one is even more exciting, and it has names that people relate to, people already know, and some of them use it as well,
Yeah.
right? So it is about all the cloud providers, right? Some of these cloud providers are also developing their own models, right? That a lot of us are using, and there are some of my favorite names as well. So I think I'll jump right back and show you my rankings. Okay, cool. So I guess, as I said, some people might have already noticed some familiar logos here. So basically, these are companies that are cloud providers, and they either directly take these chips, such as NVIDIA and AMD, and give their cloud services to other companies. Let's say if I want to make an application layer today, I cannot directly buy an NVIDIA chip, right? I can, but it will be meaningless for me. It's better to go to a cloud provider like Microsoft or Google and then host my application there, and then they'll take care of running my models on these chips. So the first two companies that I would want to talk about is Alphabet, which is Google, and Microsoft. So what do you think, Ridhya? I would want to take your opinion first.
I think Alphabet and Microsoft are probably the best ones in this category because
Yeah.
Google, especially, I mean, like we've discussed earlier in the podcast as well, right? Their code case got resolved, and then
Yeah.
their P is relatively lower, and
Yeah.
they are in AI in so many segments. Like, so
Yeah,
I think,
I think
yeah,
Google has such a clear moat. Actually, I'll just show you a tweet, right? And that tweet just summarized it for me. मैं सोच रहा था कि मैं बहुत कुछ बोलूंगा गूगल के बारे में, and हमने literally एक पूरा podcast किया, and you should definitely go and watch that episode. I'll mention it in the description as well. But let me just show you the tweet actually. So let's just see this tweet, right? Google owns 14% of Anthropic and 8% of SpaceX, runs Gemini, powers Cloud with TPU chips, handles 90% of searches, runs YouTube, tracks the world through maps, owns Android, powers 3 billion devices, dominates ads, emails, cloud browser. Google is the internet. And I was like, यार, this is the best summary. इसके बाद कुछ बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है. If you have said
True.
कि Google is the internet, then what else do we say? So for people who don't know, Google का एक केस चल रहा था, and that has been resolved now, mostly in favor of Google. So that is also over now. That was the biggest problem right now. And as Rohit Bhaiya said, कि amongst all of this, the multiple is lowest for Google, right? And it has the biggest distribution. So I would definitely want to place it in tier S.
एस से ऊपर भी कुछ होता तो उसमें भी डाल
S से
देते.
ऊपर भी होता तो Google चला जाता. But yeah, we are limited by S. But an amazing stock. I have absolutely no problems recommending it. And yeah, coming to Microsoft, I think Microsoft also has a phenomenal growth. For people who don't know, Microsoft, as under their Azure business, is one of the, I think, the second largest cloud provider after AWS. So, but the amazing thing, Rohit, is that in the last quarter, जब सारे क्लाउड प्रोवाइडर्स ने अपनी अपनी अर्निंग्स ये पेश की थी, माइक्रोसॉफ्ट हैड द बिगेस्ट परसेंटेज गेन क्वार्टर ऑन क्वार्टर, आउट ऑफ इवन मोर देन गूगल. और फिर मैं जब उसके इन डेप्थ में गया, वन ऑफ द फंडामेंटल रीजंस व्हाई दे वर एबल टू डू इज दैट मोस्ट ऑफ द बिजनेसेस are still on Microsoft Office, right?
Yeah.
And they are transitioning a lot of these businesses to cloud. So there is a lot of inherent demand that they can churn out from these businesses moving to cloud, right? And obviously, Azure is a fantastic cloud infrastructure. So in that view, obviously, and also I think they have a very, very deep partnership with ChatGPT. So I think that also will help them in the future, has been helping them. Almost all of Microsoft products are now powered by AI. So I think they have a really good growth. It's a very sustainable company. Something, again, I would want to put in S tier. Basically, I don't know what negative points to point out for Google and Microsoft, basically. That's
Very
why it's
low
put
risk.
in S tier.
Very, very low risk companies, and
Very low risk, yes.
there's no reason for them not to grow in the coming years in
Yeah.
this AI boom.
Yeah, and one mistake that I have done in the past is that मैं हमेशा सोचता था, जब भी मैं like 5 years back भी, I was like, यार ये companies अभी all time high पे हैं, and अभी नहीं लेना चाहिए. Please don't make that mistake. Right? That is irrelevant. You should just look at अभी stock price क्या है और अभी के हिसाब से क्या आपको वो महंगा या सस्ता मिल रहा है. Just that matters. अगर वो आपको लग रहा है relatively सस्ता, उसकी past history does not matter.
Yeah.
Plain and
So
simple.
buy high, sell higher.
Yeah, exactly. For these companies, absolutely. Awesome. So let me just quickly cover the other names. Amazon. Amazon is a great company. For people who don't know, Amazon's cash cow is still AWS, which is the world's largest cloud provider. Right? More than Google and Microsoft, for people who don't know. The only thing is that AWS has not been growing at the same pace as Google and Microsoft clouds. एक argument ये हो सकता है कि क्योंकि वो लोग, the cloud business for Microsoft and Google is relatively smaller, their percentage growth will be higher. एक argument ये हो सकता है, but nonetheless, we are betting on the fact of also, how these companies can grow in the future. So that is something that I want to put out there in the AI market. But the very amazing thing for Amazon, and let me just show you a quick graph. So for Amazon, so as you can see here, its earnings has been growing like crazy.
Crazy.
But let me show you an amazing thing. You see this price to sales ratio for Amazon in quarter 3 of 2015 was 3.16. And now in quarter 3 of 2025, it is 3.39.
That's crazy.
So one can argue that this company is, अगर आप इस metric को देखें, it is almost at the same valuation जो वो 2015 में था. Do we all believe and I think यहाँ पे कोई argument नहीं हो सकता है कि 2015 से this company has grown like crazy,
Yeah.
but the multiples has not.
Yeah.
So उसको ध्यान में रख के अगर हम उस तरीके से वैल्यू करें, it could become an S tier,
Yeah.
but it has to grow off a larger base. So just to be, I can't still put it in the same category. I would put it in A for me. But what do you think, Rohit?
Yeah, I think to be fair to NVIDIA, we'll need to put this in A.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we got to be fair with Nvidia. Yeah, I mean, what's wrong with Nvidia? So yeah, but yeah, Amazon again a fabulous company. I think right now, अगर आप top 10 companies देखोगे US में जो FANG बोलते हैं सब, everybody has had a run up except for Amazon in the last 2-3 years, and I think वो काफी pent up demand है, वो बढ़ेगा ही. So definitely I would want to recommend Amazon as well. Just because it's an A doesn't mean it's any less than a Google or a Microsoft. But I've told you the reasons why I'm doing so. Cool. The next one, or the two more that I want to quickly rank is Oracle and Alibaba. I'll talk about them एक एक line में. Alibaba basically does all of this जो हमने बात की अभी तक, right? That is my summary. Alibaba is your Amazon for China. Alibaba is also your Google for China. It is the biggest cloud provider in China, and it is also the biggest e-commerce player in China, right? And they are, putting again all foots on the pedal to take the a leading space in Chinese AI. So and the stock has been undervalued for the longest time. I think recently इसको भी काफी बड़ा run up मिला है. But my biggest concern with Alibaba has been that because of the China risk, the tensions between US and China, right? That is the biggest reason why I still feel that Alibaba for me could be a B or a C. What do you think, Rohit?
So the thing is, apart from the China risk, I still see it as very undervalued. So it's
Yeah.
not even like $400 billion company. So which feels very undervalued with the kind
True.
of progress they're making with creating their own chips or
That is
any other aspect for that matter. So if that China risk due to Trump was not there, I
Yeah.
would definitely go for a A.
Yeah.
But I think C would be like not good for a company
Maybe
like
too much.
Alibaba.
Yeah.
I
I
think
also agree. I think it's a definite
B.
B for me, but something to look out for.
Yeah,
That this company has this big risk attached to the Trump factor.
yeah. Keep a close eye on the price movements.
Yeah. For Oracle, all I would want to say is that another great cloud provider, but I personally, जैसे मैंने पिछले पॉडकास्ट में भी बात की है, I had rejected this stock completely. मैंने सोचा नहीं था that they'll be able to crack these sort of partnerships, but till now the biggest partnership ever जिसने OpenAI के साथ crack किया has been Oracle. But I'm still थोड़ा सा बैकफुट पे उस डील को लेके because it has to still play out. There are still a lot of promises. Both these companies don't have the money to fulfill the deal, but the deal is there. So the company is good, but the valuation's too high, I think. And recently, the run up has been just crazy. So I don't know, and I just don't get very good vibes with
B, B.
Oracle, to be honest.
B
So
or
what do you
C.
think, Rohit? I have a tough time ranking this one.
I would say B or C.
Yeah,
The thing is, because of the partnership, I would like to keep it in B.
yeah,
Assuming that the
it
growth
plays out.
story
Yeah,
would continue going forward,
yeah.
and otherwise C. But I think it.
Let's hope so. Yeah. B only if they are actually able to fulfill the OpenAI deal, and they said that there are other partnerships also. That they are gonna announce. Let's see what those partnerships are.
Yeah, maybe
But
something in between would have been ideal. B and B.
yeah, maybe a B minus. Yeah, maybe a B minus is more accurate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's it from my side, Rohit. I think this has made the podcast really engaging. We are ranking it, and people are getting a very visual summary of what we are really talking about and what we feel.
Yeah, so I think we can just move on to like a
Yes.
a riskier part. Uh, Two very important sectors which power AI. So what we'll do is we'll start with one of those segments, which is the energy and power infrastructure. So, some of the leading experts in AI are saying that now, what can stop the growth of AI is not the technology itself, but the power required to, run all these chips and hardware and software, everything. So, some of these energy companies, which are smaller and have given, some of them have even given like a huge run up in the last few months, so we'll discuss some of that. And one thing what I would like to do is that these companies we cannot compare with the kind of companies we discussed in the first two segments, because these, like a lot of these companies are not even profitable yet, but they're showing great potential. Some of them have given a lot of run up in the recent months, so we definitely want to cover it. And so let's refresh that page and just pick those
Sure.
website, as in pick those companies one by one again. So yeah, let's look into some companies that are working in power and energy infrastructure. So Sumit, there's that graph. Can you share that graph of US versus
Yes.
China? Let's start with that.
Yeah.
So this is an insane graph where you can see how China has overtaken the energy generation growth when compared to the US. So US is still stuck at like 4 million gigawatt hours since 2010, whereas China has more than doubled it to more than 9 million gigawatt hours. And this is still, I think, 2022, 2023. And I'm sure now China would have been like even more, it would be generating even more uh, power than it was doing so 2 to 3 years ago. So yeah, like with companies like NVIDIA, definitely US is ahead in producing those chips, but China has the next frontier in its grasp, the power generation. So I think once these companies like Alibaba come up with their good chips, then I think China has all the things it requires to take over US in the AI race. So yeah, let's start with the companies. So the first
Yes.
one would be
Excited.
yeah, the first one I would say would be, let's take it as VST, which is
Yeah.
Vistra Corp. So it's a large power producer, and it has 39 gigawatt generation capacity. And the thing is, it is spread across all kinds of energy generation, from gas to coal to nuclear to solar, and it is profitable. But I do not see it, growing like crazy. First of all, because it is spread across so many of these different categories of energy generation, and then it doesn't have that spark of, let's say, some of these companies that are making small nuclear reactors to uh, like give energy to huge data farms and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it doesn't have that kind of a buzzword for helping AI as such, but it is something that will grow slowly for sure, and it is anyway profitable. So because of that, I would probably give it a B or a C, not sure. Maybe a B.
B is where it goes.
Yeah. So like we can't expect like huge multiples from it, but it is sort of like a defensive stock amongst the lower cap
Yeah.
stocks.
Right.
Then cool. I think next it shows us OKLO. So OKLO Inc. It's an early stage nuclear power company,
Yeah.
and just like I was telling for Vistra, they like OKLO is one of that company that is developing these small modular reactors for on-site data center power. So like imagine Meta has a huge data center. Okay, there's nothing to imagine, but so let's say there's a huge data center of Meta, and they want locally produced, power for that. They don't want to get into transmitting it from some other state in the USA and
Yeah,
stuff.
the public power stations. Yeah,
Yeah, so they just want to, let's say, create a small nuclear power plant next to it, generate electricity from there, and then power their data center. So it's like a very high risk and high reward play. It is backed by Sam Altman, and that tells you a lot that in the future it can do really well, because OpenAI, as we know, like they have the AI which is used by most number of people.
yeah,
So I think I would give it an A. I'm not sure. Like I still feel it's too big of a risk. It's not something which is extremely proven right now. It's a
yeah.
very not a very proven model as of now, because they still have to get regulatory approvals. So, but the potential is huge, especially for price appreciation. Even
Yeah,
if in the next 5 years it doesn't work out, I'm sure it'll give like multiple X returns before it dies down or something. So I would give it an A for now. But again, this whole list will be very high risk, high reward kind of situation. So
that is
please,
true. Yeah.
risk management is essential for these picks.
I would want to say two things about OKLO भैया मैं भी जब ये कंपनी के बारे में रिसर्च कर रहा था राइट टू
Yeah,
थिंग्स प्राइमरली केम अप जो ग्राफ अपने स्टार्टिंग में दिखाया राइट
yeah,
that you referred to. China has been able to get that sort of a trajectory in energy production majorly because of nuclear.
yeah, yeah. True.
Right, so basically what they were able to do is make these small nuclear power plants and meet that energy demand that China had, right, especially to back their manufacturing sector.
Yeah,
But ओक्लो के बारे में फिर जब मैं सोचता हूँ तो नैरेटिव उनके साथ है राइट सो फॉर
true, true.
मोस्ट a lot of these companies their multiples will not be driven by profitability जैसा आपने बताया
Exactly.
और
Yeah,
free cash flow and stuff like that जो हमने पहले दो
yeah,
सेक्टर्स में देखा राइट
yeah.
हियर इट विल बी मोस्टली ड्रिवन बाय नैरेटिव
True.
किसके साथ है
Yeah,
ओक्लो के साथ बहुत बड़ा नैरेटिव है सैम ऑल्टमैन वाला जो आपने बोला
yeah,
दूसरी चीज है कि द न्यूक्लियर थिंग basically people will start looking at which is that power supply uh, arrangement that can independently solve US needs, right?
yeah.
Obviously approvals चाहिए वो सारी चीजें चाहिए and all that. A clear winner there can be OKLO, and
True,
just because a name can do something, I think that's all you need in a bull run, right? When
true,
things go
true.
crazy, a can is good enough for people to buy the stock.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
that's that. But वही मेरा वही demerit वही है कि the model is still not really proven,
yeah,
and nuclear is something which a lot of government policies के साथ to play is not going to be easy. So
yeah,
for it to become a very sustainable and very to have a very clear path to growing revenues, I think for time hai. But I think the narrative is something that can really drive the stock price.
yeah, yeah. So A, according to you as well?
Yeah, I think so. Yes, because I'll have to switch my brains off. For we can't, as you said, we can't, rank them based on yeah. But yeah, opportunity for growth. A yes, I would
Nice.
I would also put it in A.
Gives me some more confidence. So yeah, let's move on to the next one, which is
Yeah,
Vertiv.
whatever. Yes.
So this is like I think one of the best picks and shovels play in the AI boom. So you'll get power distribution units, you'll get power backup solutions, you'll get cooling systems. They are very famous for like their liquid cooling research and solutions. So they're working with the NVIDIA on that. So they're also working with OKLO on future nuclear powered designs. So I think one of the best shovels wala play. like the gold rush,
Yeah.
how people were selling shovels were making more money than the people who were finding gold itself. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
I think
would,
I think
yeah,
it's also similar to the SMCI company that I think you have talked about in previous podcasts.
yeah, yeah.
So maybe in a very similar category, I would say. But yeah,
Sort of, yeah, yeah. So they've given a good run up as well. But
yeah.
I would still say that the way AI is growing, I would put it like in A.
A is where you go. What if?
Yeah, they have the narrative very well formed. So
Yeah.
cool. I think we are running short of time, so we'll quickly cover some more companies.
Yeah.
Next is IREN or Iris Energy. So it was sort of like a crypto mining firm earlier, but now it is like a green AI data center provider. So they use 100% renewable energy for their GPU farms, and they are also working with NVIDIA directly. They are NVIDIA's preferred partner, uh, so their revenues have jumped a lot in the recent times. So this is again, one of those which like that data center infrastructure along with green energy narrative, but I don't see the buzz as much as I see with Vertiv and OKLO, like stocks like those.
Right.
If it was there, I would have probably gone for A, but I think I'll have to go to like a B minus maybe. But since it's not there, I would give it like a B for now.
Yeah. B is where iron goes.
Cool.
Any other
Then
names in this sector?
yeah, there is cipher mining.
Cipher mining. Yes.
Yeah, it again has to do it's a Bitcoin mining play as well. But yeah, they give excess of their power and facilities for AI computing as well. So again,
Right.
it has like that Bitcoin narrative play as well, which has. I feel that the Bitcoin bull market has topped out. So because of that, being linked to this, even along with providing its power and facilities for AI computing, I
Right.
don't see that it would give the kind of multiples like it has given in the recent months. Um I would give it like a C for now.
Yeah. One thing I would like to mention here, Bhaiya, is that in our first podcast or the second one, you had mentioned CIFR.
Yeah,
I, missed that chance. But I think, जैसा कि last time आपने बताया था, it had already, gained 200% from
yeah,
the time that you had mentioned it.
way too much. Yeah.
So already a crazy run up. Yeah. So,
So another caveat is there are rumors that they will partner with Google.
oh,
So
that's all these
it's
companies need. They just need these big names to partner with
that
them.
that's true, but again, it's very speculative. So I wouldn't go. I think it's like a C plus for me for now. I feel that Oklo and Vertiv companies like that will give much better returns. So again,
Right.
like since these are more speculative companies, I
Yeah. And it has already given a lot of runs, as I
a
said,
lot
like
of run up.
200% already. I mean, it could do another 200%. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, this is what we feel right now. Yeah.
yeah. Then let's talk about a battery provider, which is EOS Energy. That's the next one. Um, so they are specialized. They specialize in zinc-based battery storage solution. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not like an AI company per se, but like an energy backup, energy storage kind of solution,
Uh-huh.
which would be crucial for plays like Vertiv, like since they have these UPS solutions as well. So for
Right.
that, they'll need huge batteries to store power. So it's like an indirect play. Uh, if the AI boom continues and power backup requirements also keep on increasing, so it's like a higher risk play. I'm thinking if it would go in a B or a C. I think this one also I would put in a C. So
C is where it goes.
cipher mining would be like a C plus. This would be like a C or C minus.
Right.
So very speculative. Like if you are investing, I would suggest keep like a very, 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 very small part of your portfolio in these companies.
Yeah.
They might have given the kind of run-ups they have, some of them in the last few months, but again, if they don't, you should also probably see the kind of fall some of these companies have had in the last 1 month. So
Yeah.
that would kind of make you cautious. So yeah, let's move on quickly to the next category, which is
Yeah,
data
this is a really
center.
interesting category. Yes.
Yeah, the data center plays. So again, another company that has given a massive run up in the last few months, which is CoreWeave. So it's like went public this year, right?
Yeah.
2025, and it has given like a good run up already. It has like some big clients. It's like a very big AI cloud provider which has a lot of buzz since going public. Uh, they have a lot of AI compute contracts, even with OpenAI. So they seem to be like medium risk. I wouldn't say low risk, but like a medium risk, and the growth potential seems huge because they have the backing of NVIDIA as well,
Correct.
a deal with OpenAI.
Yeah.
So I think with this kind of a narrative and the way the market is moving up, the kind of momentum it has, I would keep it in A.
Yeah, yeah,
So
I agree. I mean, this company basically, ticks all the boxes. Jo, we are talking in this realm. Uh, it has partnerships with all of the big companies. They're almost all data centers, I think, are booked until 2026.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Basically, everybody is accounted for. I think Nvidia has even gone to an extent saying that if by chance somebody doesn't account for or you have a few racks that are
yeah,
not rented
I,
or whatever, we'll
yeah,
take whatever is not sold basically.
yeah,
And that confidence is huge basically.
yeah,
So from all perspectives right now, CoreWeave cannot be a loser definitely. Obviously they have to figure out operational challenges, and their operating margins and etc have to improve, but I think given time that can be solved for. The
yeah,
company has जैसा आपने बोला भैया, it has recently gone public,
yeah,
but huge room to grow. And I know Brad Gerstner and some of these big names are backers of CoreWeave. So
yeah.
yeah,
So
it's an
in
amazing.
these categories, I personally, would not want to give any of the companies an S because they are, riskier companies.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
true.
for CoreWeave specifically, I would give like an A plus, but still not an S.
Correct.
So it's like I wouldn't say again lower risk, but yeah, medium risk, lower risk than the other place like let's say IREN or CIFR mining and those kind of
Yeah.
companies. So yeah. So what we'll do is we have like 4 to 5 more companies, but
Hmm.
I would just pick the one which I think would be the best from those, and we would
Sure.
leave
Yeah.
others for now because the podcast is getting long.
Yeah.
So that is NBIS, which is the Nebius Group. I hope I didn't butcher the pronunciation. So yeah, they are like uh, an upcoming like an emerging big company in AI infrastructure.
Hmm.
It's spun out of Yandex, and like what they do is they have like full stack cloud services on NVIDIA hardware.
Right.
So like it has sort of a partnership with Nvidia, and like they secured a huge $17 billion deal to supply AI cloud capacity to Microsoft, which is
Right.
like a 5-year term.
Correct.
So this gives them like a security for the near future, and I think because of this kind of like a company like Microsoft making such a huge deal with them, I would want to again give it an S, but because of the category and the other kind of risks, I would say A plus or A.
is where it goes. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
One thing also I would want to say Bhaiya is that for a lot of these companies, it
yeah,
also matters is that किसके around ना community बन रही है.
yeah,
जैसे पिछले बुल रन 2021 वाले बुल रन में क्या हुआ था, गेम स्टॉप was a
yeah,
very generic name, right? But
yeah,
because a lot of retailers, grouped together, started talking about it. So I
yeah,
would also, because ये completely अलग type of investing है, right?
yeah,
So and this may actually, when I'm on stocks Twitter a lot, I see NBIS coming up in
yeah,
again and again in different chats and groups. So that's also a good thing about if you're looking for this sort of investing, is that is there hype around this or not,
yeah,
right? The company can be good, not good. If
yeah,
they can do partnerships, is anybody even noticing those partnerships, right?
exactly. Yeah.
That's a bigger thing.
And
Uh,
they, since they spun out of Yandex, right? So they
uh,
have that Russian community connection, sort of. But
mm,
since it has that Russian connection, it was like a risky play. But they have kind of moved their business now to
got it,
Netherlands,
got
so
it.
that risk is like cancelled. So
Oh,
again,
that's a good info. Yeah, मुझे पता नहीं था ये.
yeah.
See.
So CoreWeave and NBIS would be like my top picks in this segment. I would give them
Got
an
it.
A plus, but since we don't have, we put them in A.
Yeah. For the
So
other
yeah,
stocks, Rudya, I have an idea
yeah,
that why don't we leave our podcast here, and for people who are interested,
yeah,
why don't जो बचे हुए नाम है जैसे IC Equinix, DLR, Switch,
yeah,
QTS and IREN and Cone,
yeah,
I think these are the ones that we have not ranked.
yeah,
Why don't people go ahead and rank them? What do they
yeah,
think about these?
yeah. Please, we'll
So
get to learn something new, maybe
yeah, and
new
based on that,
perspective.
please do give your logic as well as to why you're ranking them, in a particular tier.
Yeah,
Awesome. I think personally, I really loved this episode, Hridaya.
yeah,
I think it was really engaging. It was not just two of us talking, but I think people had a visual guide to look at as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
But most importantly, for a lot of people जो अब AI boom में invest करना चाहते, उनके लिए we wanted to do a playbook,
yeah,
right? How to think about an AI company. Everybody's just talking about NVIDIA. There are a lot of other companies that are
yeah,
taking part in this boom. How to think about that. So I
yeah,
think it's a really good value add episode.
for sure.
So yeah, I'm really happy of how did this turn out to be.
Yeah, for sure. I thoroughly enjoyed it too. I've often seen people doing these sort of rankings using this.
Yeah,
So I actually grabbed a screenshot from one of those videos and asked ChatGPT which website are they using, and then it took me like 1 hour to just figure out how to get this working in an order, and then got
yeah.
the logos generated with ChatGPT. It was a fun learning experience.
Thanks for doing all that work, Bhaiya. I'm sorry I was not able to help you out with this,
That's
but
totally
had
all
a, had
right.
a, had a lot of fun,
Had a blast
moving
today.
and putting these talks there.
Yeah,
But yeah, hope people found value. I
yeah,
would also love to urge to our viewers and listeners that do let us know what kind of content you would want us to share in the future.
yeah,
We'd love to take feedback. So
yeah.
yeah, awesome. See you in the next one, Bhaiya.
See you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.